All right, looks like we've got lots to talk about.
Oh, a hell of a lot. I kind of forgot that September is that techie time of year that everything gets announced.
Techtember.
Yeah. When I heard Marcus Bradley say that about maybe a year ago, I didn't believe him. But it really is tech heavy when it hits September.
So far, what have we had? We had the Google, we had the Apple.
Yeah. The Google event I didn't watch, but I read up about afterwards. I couldn't watch that.
I loved it.
You liked it?
I loved it, yeah.
I thought it was a bit awkward and not my kind of thing.
The awkwardness was brilliant. I mean, they glossed over a lot of things and just made it a bit Hollywood, but I thought it was cool.
Admittedly, so far the only bit of news this month that I've actually found very exciting, minus the Apple news, is the Nikon and Red camera. You seen that?
Oh, what? No. They've collaborated, have they?
So a year ago or something, actually maybe at the beginning of this year, they brought Nikon. Sorry, no, Nikon brought Red.
Yes, I remember that, actually, yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of panicked me at that time, but now seeing the camera that comes out of their first camera, I'm very intrigued in where this is going to go next.
And this is the ZR that you sent me today.
Yeah.
Or yesterday. Wow. Okay, so what does it do?
So it shoots 6K at 60 frames a second.
Okay.
Which is really good. My camera can't do that. It has a really large back monitor.
It looks huge.
Yeah, you don't really need to, it's nice to have a external monitor, but it's even better to have one attached to the screen. And immediately what comes to my mind is I think of what is it, the Blackmagic camera?
Yeah, they've got gorgeous screens. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of their approach of that, and yet it's still more flexible than that one.
And they had in the video they've got a guy mounting it on his head.
Have they? I've not seen the video.
Yeah.
The first person I watched review it was Becca Farce, I think her name is. She used to work at Verge.
Right. Okay. Is she the short one with the short hair?
Yes.
She's the photographer one. Yeah.
Yeah. And it might be Rebecca, not Becca. I can't remember. I should probably check. Yeah, and I immediately thought I like this camera, and then I watched a few more channels like Potato Jet and stuff like that to try and get an idea of the downsides. The only downside I can see is the HDMI port being mini. Is it micro HDMI? Micro HDMI.
Micro, yeah.
And the fact that it takes micro SD as well.
Micro SD?
Yeah, it has a dual slots. I think one of them is CFast and the other one is micro SD.
Oh, that's a bit of a compromise. And I see the message they're sending there is that, that's not really a professional storage of medium or whatever. But if you're going to put SD, you might as well put full size.
Yeah. Have you seen the price?
$2,000?
It's not bad, is it?
It's not bad. Not bad at all. What is it compatible with in terms of the mount?
The mount is a Nikon mount, so it's mostly photographer lenses at the moment, and there is a new range supposed to be coming out with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of limited at the moment. You have to kind of get a adapter to swap it to other lenses like your Sony ones or your Canon.
Yeah.
Or your Panasonic ones.
Yeah, that's probably the only downside to it at the moment. But again, that's temporary, isn't it?
Mm. And then as well as all that camera news, we've got another camera that came out that was announced a while ago and we discussed it before.
Okay.
You've got the Fujifilm Eterna came out, which is their proper cinema camera. That thing looks beautiful. I've seen the footage out of that. Really good.
But let's face it though, what's the price on a Fujifilm Eterna?
£16,000.
There it is. But these cameras are not built for people to buy, are they? They're cameras that are going to go and be hired.
They're not for us. They're cameras we can dream of and look at, but they're not for us.
Absolutely. I think if I was hired on a project to be camera op and they leased one of these, I'd ask for an extra couple of days just to sit with it and really, really get to know it.
But that's everything camera. I mean, I was shocked by the announcement of that Nikon camera. I didn't expect to hear anything about that for a while.
Do you feel like you should have waited now?
No, because I still wouldn't be able to afford that camera. That's not the thing I'm regretting. The thing I'm regretting is all the Apple stuff since the latest announcement.
Okay, because the iPhone 17 standard looks pretty good.
It's that. Oh, we'll get to it in a sec. Got a few more things to quickly discuss. I also did a radio show.
You did. Congratulations, by the way.
I did not like doing a radio show. So it was a pre-recorded one.
Yeah.
And that meant I could keep practicing and keep trying. And I didn't have the proper setup, and my roadcaster kept arguing with me. So I ended up, the first couple of times that I was trying it, having to manually mute my mic, the speakers every time.
Oh, right.
And the amount of times that screwed me over. And I still didn't get it right towards the end, but eventually I got the roadcaster to agree with me, and the fact it would mute the speaker output while I was doing that, and I was much happier. But my God, it's so different to podcasting.
Did you enjoy talking, though? You didn't enjoy talking?
I didn't enjoy talking. I specifically didn't enjoy listening back to myself talking.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to podcasting, I usually spend a lot of time to make sure that my voice sounds the way I want it to.
Right.
And I like that kind of deeper tones.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that came across with the radio show at all.
So why was it? What I find is if I'm DJing or doing a radio show, I think the music kind of changes my mood and I get excited and I ended up sounding like, screechy and shouting and things like that. Was that the same for you?
Yeah, same kind of thing. And also, I didn't feel like I sounded that professional. I felt like most of the time I kept stuttering on myself or going back on what I said.
Right.
Which admittedly, I do in this as well. I just either edit it out or I get Jonas to edit it out.
No editing in it. Well, actually, you could have edited, but did you kind of just go for a one take and then if that take was wrong, do a whole other take?
Yes. Because last time that I did a practice, you told me off for editing it immediately afterwards. So I thought this time, I won't touch it. Whatever happens.
Do you know what though? That's still my school of thinking, but I listen to a lot of DJ mixes on Mixcloud, and I can really tell now that DJs are just using, what's the program called now? But basically a DAW to do time stretching and DJing that way because everything's too perfect now. And when they do their links in between, the links seem to last the exact amount before the drop comes, and like just the timings are too good to be live.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
And coincidentally, coming up to the time that I started doing this radio show or practicing for it, I listened to a lot more Radio 6.
Yeah.
Which is the UK's, my favourite radio station from BBC.
6 Music, yeah.
Yeah, I've started to learn all the things I should do from that. I've probably got to listen to a lot more.
What are some of the key things you've learned?
To let go. I was listening to, is it Craig Charles?
Yeah, Craig Charles.
He screwed up this bit on air, and you can tell he screwed it up, but instead he just carried on going.
Yeah.
And I found that very interesting.
They've got an unfair advantage outside of experience, and that is they have long shows. And I think when you have a long show, 2 hours plus, you're more open to making mistakes, mainly because nobody's listening for a 2-3 hour period, a stint, or very, not many people. And you're going to do another long show next week. So it just accumulates and you're more willing to try things and you're more willing to let little things pass. Whereas I think you've done is it a 1 hour show?
It's 2 hours every month.
Okay. So your first 2 hour show, your whole experience amounts to, that's 100% is 2 hours. And I think the more hours you do, the more you're going to be willing to just live with it because you know what you can do.
I spent ages picking all the music, and now I've got to figure out what I'm going to do for the next one. How on earth do you do this?
When I used to do community radio or pirate radio and do shows that were my music, I don't know. I just think mine was in reverse. I was kind of DJing at parties before I was DJing on the radio. So I've always felt like I'm just at a party and I'm playing music and I can talk to people about the music. And if you've ever seen me, if I DJ at a party of my own or a club, it is a conversation with the crowd. I would stop and talk about the music as I'm playing it, and maybe I talk a bit too much. But it's just about flow, isn't it? I think if you enjoy what you're playing, you don't. If you start limiting yourself and censoring yourself on that kind of radio, when are you ever going to have a chance to enjoy your music the way you want to?
Interesting. Especially because the show that I'm running is called Marmite, which calls back to... It's a weird name, but the whole idea is, one, I can't pick a genre, so each time it's going to be random.
Yeah.
And two, when I lived in Newport, they had this sort of event that they had going on that had Marmite everywhere as a little icon.
What?
It's confusing to explain, but my family had an input in that, and I remember handing out these little flyers that had a Marmite logo on them. If I can find it, I'll send it to you to try and make more sense of it, but it won't make any sense.
That's cool. So Marmite, before we move on, do you love it or hate it?
I like Marmite, but in small doses.
Oh, you had to be the person in the middle, didn't you?
I like it on a crumpet. I do not like it on toast. I used to like it on toast. Not anymore. One last audio thing before we get to the guts of this episode is, for years, and the reason why I've been trying out Apple Music, Spotify has been promising to add lossless audio.
Oh, I thought they had that.
No, they haven't.
Oh, wow.
I think they've been promising it since 2015, 2016, something like that. And about 2 days ago, I think, they finally pushed the update. I still haven't got it. It's supposed to be rolling out slowly, but I'm so happy that it exists, and I will be testing that all I can.
Wow. And so when they release that, is it the whole of their database? Because I remember when Apple bought it and they phased it in.
So I heard rumors, I think a Verge article a couple of weeks ago or something like this, actually a couple of months ago, where they said that they were changing all the files to lossless in the background. And later on, we would get the implementation of it. So
okay,
I think it's going to be a higher amount. I haven't found any yet, but I think that might be because I'm not up to date. I don't know. I've been trying to figure this out, and I don't know if I have the update or if I don't have the update. Because okay, right. Here's a nitpick. Going through Apple's store, going on to Spotify, every other app says what the patch notes for the newest update.
Yeah.
Spotify literally says, we do it so often, we can't be asked. So you don't know what is happening in that update.
Oh my goodness. That's irresponsible as well, right? Because I like to, even if I trust a brand, I still want to read those notes. And they're kind of saying, trust us, we know what we're doing.
See if I can quickly get it up for a second. We're always making changes and improvements to Spotify to make sure you don't miss a thing. Keep your updates turned on. That's all they say. And every single update says that.
Trust us, leave the door open. That's all I heard.
Yeah. Wow. It's not good, is it?
No, not at all. I love reading release notes before I update. Even if it's just for me to test the thing they've added, or avoid it.
Okay, that kind of nicely leads on to the main subject now. So, it's been that time again. We've had another Apple event. How do you think it went?
We have. I think it was a snooze fest, I'm afraid.
Interesting, really?
Yeah. I liked my favourite part. It was the headphones.
Okay, right. I find that very intriguing.
It just, I don't know. I feel like they, yes, they tried and they brought new things to the market. But it just does feel like they're kind of picking things out of a hat, throwing them against the wall and seeing if they stick now. And I don't know. Did you leave thinking I need a new iPhone?
So the main thing that I was thinking is I'm now really worried about what the 17E is going to be like. The main things that I'm interested in, they updated. They added the variable refresh rate or ProMotion to their entire line. And I don't have that. Yeah. I would like to have that. And
the CX.
I actually do see that front camera with the new square sensor as a genius idea. I'm not a person who takes a lot of selfies, but that convenience of not having to worry about what way you're holding your phone is amazing. I just want to know if it's a full frame shot at the same time, or if it's does the motion. Oh, what is the words I'm looking for?
The motion feature.
No, when you watch something, you have the refresh rate from top to bottom, right?
Yes.
I'm asking if this new sensor will do the top to bottom refresh rate, or if it will do the entire frame all at once, because that would matter a lot to me.
Why?
Because let's say that sensor is top to bottom, but you've turned your phone sideways, then that means that refresh rate will be left to right. If the frame is all done at once, then you don't have to worry about that.
So what happens on the rear camera when you flip your phone sideways? What happens?
I don't know. I never use my rear camera. It's funny to be debating how much this camera is very interesting. I don't ever use the front camera apart from Face ID, and that's not even anything to do with that camera.
What's interesting to me is it's a wide camera, and they're promoting this wide camera to take selfies. And anyone who's taken pictures of faces with wide cameras knows you don't take pictures of faces with a wide lens.
Yeah, that's true.
So I wonder if there's some digital magic that's kind of bending those corners, because obviously the corners normally stretch and they push the middle in and make your face look really broad. So I wonder if they're or if they have been in the past, counteracting that with some wizardry.
Well, with the new lenses on the front that are all 48 megapixels, isn't that the same kind of problem as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not fortunate enough to have a 48 megapixel camera, so I don't know what they've got going on.
I do, but I can't test that.
I'll tell you what's brilliant though, and that is the recentering feature. I forgot what it's called now.
Staged, auto staging, whatever it's
Center
called.
stage.
Center stage.
So I've used center stage by accident. My daughter's iPad has it, and it's genius. I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, it's hard to go back to a normal FaceTime call after having that. So just to have that on your front-facing camera for that dual mode that they had, where you can shoot forwards and backwards, I thought it was brilliant.
So what did you like about the AirPod Pro then?
Well, they claim it's 4 times the noise reduction is 4 times better than my AirPod Pro 1, and to me that's a massive selling point. That combined with the redesign for the ear tips and the same price is enough to get me on board.
So for me, I've always found Apple's headphones, both the over-ears and the in-ears, not very appealing to me. I've never liked the design of them, and I don't like the ecosystem. I prefer my headphones to be able to connect to whatever I want very easily. And I've tried using the AirPods with my dad's ones and trying them on different devices. They just don't connect very well.
Yeah.
These are the first time that I've actually thought I might get them at some point.
Is that because you're in the ecosystem now?
I am having that problem. I every so often I now find myself going, "Oh, I need a new iPad or a Apple Watch," and I go, "I don't need any of that. I don't know why I'm thinking that."
Yeah.
But the only reason why I'm actually even convinced at all of the new AirPod Pros is the heart rate tracking.
Right.
I find that quite interesting because every time that I go for a walk or a run, I have headphones in and I don't have a watch. I try to have a watch on me, but I forget it all the time.
Yeah.
I quite like the idea of using that to kind of track my exercise. I know that it can't track my steps, but it could still track other data that I'd be happier with using. And then that means I could go with the Pebble Watch, which I'd rather have, while still being able to keep that tracking data that Apple are so good with as well. So that's the only thing that convinced me. That noise cancelling does sound great, but I always find that in-ears aren't great for me. No matter what I try. Like right now, I'm on these Kef in-ear headphones.
Yeah.
And I still have problems with them. They sound amazing on one ear, never the other ear. I don't know why.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. It's hard to beat an over-ear because they have that physical advantage. But they're telling me 4 times, and I've got a set of Bose Quiet Comfort 2 or 3. I can't remember which ones. They're about 5 years old. They're about 5 years old, and I went on a plane recently and had both with me, and they just kill the AirPods. I'd say they're probably about 2 times better, 100% better in terms of noise cancellation, and that's without considering comfort as well. So that's what's caught my ears perking up, because they're saying it's 4 times more unwanted noise than the originals. Now, is that just a marketing number? Do they mean, are they measuring that in some weird way?
So
this is the problem with AirPods. How do you test it?
I was
without buying it?
literally just watching a Snazzy Labs video where he was talking about how they're going to work, and
Okay.
I found it very interesting. So kind of how it works is it creates a different type of pressure that seals it better in your ear using a silicone tip and a foam somewhere. I didn't catch where that was.
Okay.
And then that means instead of it fighting against noise and creating a different negative pressure in your ear, it will just seal it up and make sure it has as little to try and remove while still doing that removing afterwards.
Right, okay.
So it should mean it's more comfortable to your ears as well for anyone who doesn't like that pressure.
Yeah, I don't like that pressure, and you can feel it when you're if you're a jogger and you run, you can really feel that pressure, and you can hear it as well. So that'd be interesting. The other feature I liked about them is the conversation awareness.
I didn't hear that.
So they detect when you're talking to someone nearby, and they automatically lower the volume of whatever you're listening to. And then when you're done, the volume goes back up. So I don't need to constantly pull my headphone out to say, huh? They would just do it themselves.
Interestingly enough, I was at a shop earlier today with my KEF headphones in, and I couldn't hear the person talking to me.
Yeah.
And I only had one in one ear.
What's your breakout thing at the... Because obviously you liked the event because you're surprised at my reaction. So what did you like?
We'll get to that. Because it's something really silly that I actually liked.
Okay.
Apple also did announce a new Apple Watch Ultra, which is something that happened. And I don't think it needed that update, really. It got...
What did it get? It got a bigger screen, didn't it?
Slightly bigger screen by reducing the bezels. It got a bigger battery, I think. Satellite messaging. And I think it got a new chip.
On subscription. The satellite messaging was on subscription after 2 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, which is confusing because it's been 2 years for a while. I like the look of the Ultra. I have no reason to ever own one because I'm not that active.
Yeah.
Although, as soon as the whole event finished, I did go on to Apple Certified Refurbished to have a look at how much the first generation is now.
They probably don't do the first generation, though, do they?
They still do, currently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's 400, I think, right now. Still.
Okay.
Which is still quite a lot.
You should get that now if you're going to get it, because they'll take that away and they'll just have second generation.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. The Air came out today. We'll get back to that in a bit. But they got rid of... Not today, but it got announced. And they got rid of the old battery bank. I was literally just thinking about buying that.
Oh, no.
And now it won't work with my phone because it's only for the Air.
Oh, really? There's not one for regular phones?
No, it only works with the Air.
It's time to go to Anchor.
Yeah, I'm going to have to find another company. Just really bad timing.
Well, second-hand market's great.
I am actually also tempted on getting the SE as well. Yeah. The new one, because I think that is a good deal currently.
$250, they said, right?
Yeah, $250, always on display. I think full day battery life, maybe 2 days. I can't remember.
Yeah, all you need is 12 hours on a maybe 16.
Yeah, but again, I don't actually like the screen itself. This is a big thing that I don't like. I really want an e-ink display, a display that doesn't interrupt my life. And I find when I did have an Apple Watch, I didn't really enjoy the experience of having one. I just like the data it provided to me.
It's amazing that Apple Watch is over 10 years old now. I can't believe it's caught on, because when it did come out, it was a flop. Like, people forget it was a flop. No, the press hated it, the critics didn't like it, people didn't buy it for the first few months. But somehow it's become, I'm guessing it's their second most popular product after the iPhone, or maybe third after the AirPods.
I remember that event so clearly of when it was a flop because that was also the same year that I said I'm never having an iPhone again. I got an iPhone. The last thing is to kind of mention that the Ultra 3 also is 3D printed. Interestingly enough,
Mm.
I didn't notice that until the bento box came up on screen and I had to rewind back to figure out what on earth they meant. And then I realized that they're 3D printing the titanium, I think they said. So that's confusing. And the sleep score is now a thing that Apple also does,
Yeah,
which I hate to know what my sleep score is at the moment.
I really want to know what mine is, and I want to know, is that feature coming to my older Apple Watch 9?
You'd think it'd be fairly easy to do, but it's Apple, so probably not.
I'll have to buy a new one then.
I mean, like we're on Series 11, so that's 2 years, 2 seasons, series behind. They probably update it. They might do.
When does iOS 13, 19 or 25 come out? 26.
We got there. So that comes out Monday.
Okay.
So it's really close. I was going to ask you, do you think your update?
I've had it on my iPad for a little while, and it's killed my iPad Pro, 2018 iPad Pro.
Yeah, I've been hearing about the battery life and how slow everything's been getting. So
It's painful.
I don't think it's ready yet.
So with the iPhone, no, it doesn't feel ready. They didn't make a song and dance about it. They normally talk about when it's out, and I didn't see them saying that this time.
Yeah, I think I'm going to wait a bit. I've seen a lot of negative and positive people arguing online about this new update. I think it's interesting and I actually cannot wait for it to come out. But I'm going to have to stop myself and not do it because I don't think it's ready for everyday use. It's fun to test with it,
Yeah.
but it will be my main products running it, so I cannot trust that it will not screw it over.
Yeah, I think I'll install it. I think I'll install it, but I don't expect much from it, put it that way.
I'm definitely not installing it on my Mac, and I'm definitely not installing it on my phone. It will probably go on my phone before my Mac. That's it. So yeah, I'm not installing it. It's pretty much the easy way of putting it. I will. Yeah. So the first thing I'll definitely update will be my phone, and maybe a week later or 2 weeks later, depending on how it goes, then I'll update my Mac.
Do you know Mac OS? I was thinking about this recently. Mac OS has come such a long way. I installed at my work. I installed Mac OS. Is it Ventura or something like that? Or it begins with a C actually. Court, one of the older ones.
Catalina?
Not quite that old. But
Oh, no, not Catalina. What am I on about?
it's probably about 4 or 5 years old now, maybe 4 years old. And Mac OS just feels completely different now, down to like the system tray, the settings tray, the dock. Things just make more sense now. And every time we get a new Mac OS, normally me, but definitely a large amount of people will say they didn't need to put that feature in. It now looks like iPad too much, but actually it works really well. Yeah, we didn't know we needed Mac OS to be more like iPad OS, but we did.
I am definitely looking forward to the new customizations coming in with the new OS.
Yeah. Which ones?
That folder customization, like I mentioned last time, which used to be a thing that's now back. I'm looking forward to that because I love color coding all my files.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I love emojis.
No, definitely not. And I'm looking forward to making all my apps the same color, just like my phone, which will probably either be an orange or a completely black and white look.
You're alone on that one.
I know I am. You may have noticed there's a lot of changes going around at the moment with Press Red now becoming wonky. One of those big changes is now we don't have a Functions YouTube channel. It's now been changed to the wonky YouTube channel, while we still keep the screen-free one. This is just a thing we're testing out because screen-free is kind of more popular on its own, and we want to do more experimental content with screen-free specifically. So if you want to show some support to this thing that we're trying to grow, head over to the wonky YouTube channel. So, is there any iPhone that stood out to you then?
Well, I found myself asking when I finally upgrade to an iPhone 17 or 18 if I ever need to buy a Pro anymore, which is interesting because I've always felt the need to buy a Pro for the screen and the cameras. But it looks like the entry-level phone does all that now. So yeah, the 17 stood out to me.
I think with this new update, the main the pro phone has actually got to a level that I can actually say I can see that for pro people, not just everyday people.
Yeah.
That was one of my main problems with it. I always saw it as this tool that people would like to buy just to show off how much money they've got, not to be the actual pro phone that would do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's got that cooling, that proper shell that allows it to cool better as well. And the cameras just make so much more sense to me. I actually see that as a viable phone for anyone who's going pro. That being said, I still wouldn't buy it. I'd still buy a DSLR or a mirrorless camera over that.
That was my question. What does going pro mean with a phone? What does it mean? Because nobody who's pro has got a phone in their pocket, when they go to work and use it for pro anything.
I think that it's becoming this kind of blur. Well, maybe not blur, but it's becoming more of a thing that people will use their pro phones for content creation or quick short films. Like a good example is at college with you, me and Caden, I helped Caden work on this little project where he filmed everything on his phone.
Yeah.
And that we got to use the Blackmagic tools and test around with that. And I kind of saw it as a more viable option, but I thought the camera wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
This new pro phone has that quality that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
And it has that ruggedness that I think could actually be used.
So pro in terms of cameras, but definitely not in terms of using the compute on it.
I mean, it's got better, but we'll have to see what that cooling does for that processing.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. And the Air phone is very interesting to me. In fact, this has had me taking notes in the middle of the night because I think it's a very interesting take. I've heard a lot of people say that this phone, the Air phone, is going to be the only of its kind. I don't think they're going to do an Air 2.
Yeah, I could see that.
I know that other people see that, and I'm guessing now that you said that, you're one of those people who see that.
I am.
And it's going to be a foldable phone next year.
It looks like that's the spot where they experiment with different phones, and then they replace the other one and put something new in there.
I do think it's an experiment, but I'm intrigued on how it's going to be treated by people who like to customize their phones.
Yeah, okay.
Beginning of this year, or last year, I can't remember when it was, they released the CMF phone from nothing, which allowed you to take off the back, fully replace it, put it back on with a different color, or add different accessories.
Yeah.
And then if you cast your mind back to the iPod Touch 3rd or 5th generation, they added this weird bit in the corner where you could thread some...
Yes. I do remember that, yeah.
I think this phone's going to be for the accessories. People are going to buy it because it's so thin, they could put a case on it that could have these random accessories. And 3D print people are going to love this phone for what they can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is the effect that Apple wants, but they kind of thought about it. And that's why that case exists that has the lanyard now.
Yeah. Oh, that was weird.
That was weird. Very not Apple. But I think they've detected that this is going to be that sort of tinkerer's phone. That's how I see it.
I wonder if it's just going to be the phone that a lot of people who bought the Pros to show they had the Pro but didn't use the features will just now buy this phone because they see it as the standout phone, and which leaves the Pros to the Pros.
Yeah.
So it will be the new show-off phone out of the iPhone range.
Which I'm still happy with. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the new name of the notch bit at the top, the Air Plateau.
The Plateau, I saw that. Why don't you call it the camera system or something? Camera bump.
Thought that was a very weird name, but fine, okay. Same for the C1X. That I generally gasped when I heard that because I was like, why? Why would you put an X on that?
Yeah, strange.
It should be the C1 Pro or Air based on their whole system, but no. We'll just put an X on it now, apparently.
C2? What's wrong with C2?
I feel like they were saving C2 for something. I don't know what. I actually don't know how much they're going to have to update these chips. It doesn't feel like it has to be updated that often, but who knows?
Yeah, but I think Apple do that a lot with things that don't need updating often, and they do. They're going to find some way to make networking faster. I mean, not networking. They're going to find some way to improve that chip. The networking chip's the end chip, isn't it? So there's too many now.
Talking of the chips, I do think it's a very, very smart idea to move all of the components to the top, build-wise. because it leaves a lot of volume for the battery or the speakers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it does bring up thermal worries to me. If you have all those components that are running hot at the top, next to the camera and the modem and all that, I've kind of going to get worried that those are going to get too hot. So we're going to have to see what happens there.
And for those of us that have the phone against our face, because we still use the phone
Yeah,
in a traditional way, could burn us.
it could have all of those problems, really. But on the other side of the things, if they can possibly make this even better, I'd be really interested in seeing that, because there's that whole right to repair movement that I would love to see Apple take up. I know they never will, but if they could at least put it all in some sort of tray at the top, so you could just take out the whole brains of the machine and replace it all in one. Imagine how much easier that would be to repair for the people at the Apple Store or other companies.
I was thinking the opposite when they were saying it's a unit. No, is that the unibody phone? I think it's unibody, right? Or was that the Pro?
Unibody. What do you mean by that?
The Pro. They were saying it's their first unibody iPhone.
Is that when it's all made out of CNC'd in one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, when I heard that, I thought, oh, you're not going to be able to repair that very easily then, because when it's parts, you can easily repair it at your local gizmo shop. But I never considered the thought of, well, actually, if all of the brains are in the top, it might be easier to get to them.
Don't get me wrong, by having that system, it's going to make it a hell of a lot more difficult to get through that case to make sure. But we have to take off the front display anyway.
Yeah.
So if you could make it so you just take off the front display and then take out the components as some sort of big chunk, that should be easier in the long term, I think, if they just wanted to replace it all in one. Who knows?
Who knows?
I think it's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I am very interested also, I'm going to probably be using that word a lot today, in the Blackmagic mount as well.
Yeah, I did see that. That's with the in and outs kind of. I didn't get to really look at it in detail.
So it has a HDMI, 2 Type-Cs, timecode in and out, and one other port. I can't remember what that last one was. And a power.
Okay.
So that seems great. I don't know why it took so long for that to exist. Okay, so I know that Moment, they have one that sort of works like that, but I think that's on micro USB, so it's a bit out of date, that one. That's what it had. It had audio in and out ports as well.
Oh, brilliant. That's good.
So now you can add headphone ports to your phone.
Yay! You just have to have this big stick thing hanging out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's worth it.
I think that's definitely going to make it a lot easier to tell people, hey, look, you can use this as a camera.
Yeah, but again, you're building a rig at that point. You know, you're not just whipping it out. You are considering it professionally. And then at that point, if you're spending 1,300 quid on an iPhone to be professional, just get a camera.
I mean, Apple, it would be nice if you could make a camera.
Yeah.
At least once. I'd love it. Again, I know you made one in the past, but an up-to-date one.
They will do. I think they will do. Give it 5 years, they will do.
I mean, they're trying everything at the moment, so maybe.
Yeah.
So, I know that you said that you like the 17, just the base one.
Yeah.
Do you like the look of any of the other phones?
No, they're all ugly as hell. It's laughable. The 17 is beautiful. It's got a simple camera system. It's neat. I like the colors. The 17 Air is too thin. I mean, if you're going to make it that thin, why is the camera bump so big? And then the Pros, wow. I honestly couldn't believe that was the final design. I saw the leaks. I thought, well, there's no way it's going to look like that. And it looked worse.
So, for me, I don't like the look of the 17, but I never did in the first place because it has eyes and it looks at you. It freaks me out.
Yeah.
The 17 has a single camera, so it kind of bumps it up to me that I quite like it a little bit more. But again, I agree with you. I don't like how thin it is. I don't know why we need to have a thinner phone.
We don't. We need a thicker phone.
I don't mind a thicker phone that's lighter.
Yeah.
That's fine by me. Just don't need a thinner phone. That being said, and I really don't like multiple cameras, the orange Pro phone, I think it looks beautiful.
Oh, you like that? It's like a burnt orange, isn't
As
it?
soon as I saw that orange, I went, "Oh, it's amazing! I love it."
Oh Jesus.
I know. What I kind of want is I really want that color scheme that they have on the Ultra Watch, which is that silver with the orange button.
Yes.
I'd love that on a phone.
Yeah.
That silver look with orange buttons on it, or maybe an orange camera. I think that would look lovely. But this orange, it looks so good on the Ultra. Nothing else about it I like. I think it looks slightly space agey. Like I can imagine someone on the moon holding this phone for some reason.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it's got the colours from like the rover that went to the moon as well,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like those that kind of orangey bits. Yeah.
So I'm biased on the orange, and I don't know if you can tell based on. I mean, you can't see me right now, but I have a lot of orange in front of me. I'm wearing an orange t-shirt. I've got an orange microphone. I like orange.
Okay, so that's you. Are you gonna buy one based on the colour though? Because you're gonna put a
No,
case on it, surely.
no, I would never do that.
But people will. People will.
I know they will. If they released let's say a 19E, because it's given me some time to get some money back.
Yeah.
I would then go and buy it in that orange immediately.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't buy a Pro because I don't need any of the other features of a Pro. I don't need 2 TB. Which brings me on to a thing that kind of annoyed me, but I understand, is the fact that 256 is now the base storage.
But
But
the price has gone up, so you have to get the base storage.
yeah, you have to get the base storage. And for me, I've never had a problem with my phone running out of storage.
Yeah.
Everyone else that I've ever spoken to, they usually, their phone maxes out on their storage very quickly. My Nothing Phone 1 is still on 60 gigs of how much I've used, and that was 152, 156. So I've never reached the maximum of any of my phones, including my iPhone 4, my iPod Touch as well, iPhone 5. I've never maxed out storage.
Wow.
So I'm kind of annoyed that if I now get a new phone, I've got to pay extra for some storage I'll never touch.
Yeah, again, there's a big assumption they've made there. Well, we want more money. We overcharge for storage, so we're gonna make them get that as a base because everyone wants more storage anyway, and that's the assumption they've made. But actually, what everyone wants is a cheaper phone anyway, or we're gonna make a thinner phone because everyone wants a thinner phone. Well, actually, everyone wants a bigger battery.
Yeah, agreed. I think the Air should be at that storage, and I think the Pro should be at that storage, but I do not think the base phone should be.
But giving them props, the base phone hasn't gone up in price.
That's true, so I guess it's a bonus. It's a bonus they'll use against us in the future.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I see that coming. But I would say I'm on a 15 Pro now, and I could definitely tell you now my next phone is going to be the iPhone 18 base.
So you're not going to go Pro or Air?
Yeah, they're not going to get any worse. They're going to have They're going to have promotion. They're going to be high storage. They're going to have the camera control, which we didn't mention. So yeah, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, does camera control matter?
It might not matter that much now, but I think they'll continue to support it in interesting ways. Just like they did with the touch bar.
Yeah, I kind of want it just to become another macro button. I'd be happier with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think that's a wise choice to go for, because we don't need these balls to the wall features anymore. We just need a phone that can get us to be able to do what we normally do on a day-to-day basis.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You have to understand how. Do you know what? What would be a great feature would be what your telephone provider gives you. So I don't know what telephone network you're with, but if you go on your app, it will tell you only use this much data. This package will suit you better. And so it will recommend a lower package for you to go to the next month. Now, if iPhone done that, when it's time to upgrade and it says, analyzes all your keystrokes and says,
oh, that would be amazing.
This phone would suit you exactly for what you use. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Apple, do that, please. That would make my life a hell of a lot easier when I have to recommend phones to people, if I could just say, right, go on to the Apple Store, here, right, this is what it recommends for you. Get that.
Yeah, based on your usage and the type of apps you use and the amount of time you use it, the type of pictures you take, this is what you should be using. That'd be great. But they'd be doing themselves out of money. All those people buying iPhone Pros would be told they don't need them anymore.
Yeah, that is a good point. I should also note in this episode, and like in a completely different note entirely, this is the first episode with the new Functions logo on it as well.
Oh.
So over the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to leak out the current designs that I've been working on for all these projects. And Functions is now the next one that's been released. This does not mean that the main show thumbnail will be updated, but for this episode specifically, you will see a nice custom artwork just for the Apple event with the new logo on it.
Nice.
I'm happy to get that all through. The only problem is that we've now delayed the entire launch of Wonky to a bit later because I've run out of time. I need to get a lot more done. We were going to have a special episode out of Functions and a load of other episodes, but we haven't filmed them, so they're being delayed as well. Just a quick update to everyone. But that is also all the news I've gotten written down. You got anything?
No more news, but just some commentary on Apple. And it hurts me to see Apple scared. And I was left with the feeling that Apple are concerned about the competition, concerned that the public are not necessarily going to upgrade their iPhones to newer iPhones anytime soon, and a little bit desperate. It doesn't feel good.
This year is going to be a big year for iPhones, though, with there being actual visual changes to them.
Mm-hmm.
Next year and the year after is going to be more of a challenge because they can't redesign every year. Otherwise, it would annoy more people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, they showed a Steve Jobs quote in the thing, which is just
Did they?
weird. Yeah.
I missed it.
See if I can get the note.
Whilst you're getting that note, I am looking forward to the October event, if there is one this year, because I want to see what this new MacBook looks like.
Actually, that is a really good thing that you pointed out. I forgot there was more events this year, and I was really hoping for a new HomePod this year.
We'll get it. I think we'll get it.
I'm still going to hold out and hope for it because the amount of times I've gone to go and buy one, I literally just want it to play podcasts when I'm sat at my desk. That's it.
Yeah.
But I cannot bring myself to buy an older generation if I know it's just around the corner. I can get it.
You need to buy yourself an Alexa Dot.
No.
£25.
I won't do it. Not again. I had an Alexa. I never trusted the thing. The entire time I had it muted when I wasn't using it,
Yeah.
which just became useless to me. The main thing that I enjoy about the fact that this HomePod can exist is really all I want to do to it is walk up to it, tap my phone, and that's it. I'm happy with doing that. And then sometimes telling it to turn off some lights. I don't want it listening all the time. So I'm happy with muting that one more. If I can do that. I don't have no idea if I can do that. I can't find the quote now, but in the Snazzy Labs video, he talked about the fact that there was a Steve Jobs quote in it.
We're a million miles away from Steve Jobs and his influence, and even Johnny Ive. Did you get the sense when you were listening to those voiceovers? In one particular, they had a woman who was British, and her pacing was just very much Johnny Ive, and I thought, oh, they're trying to get that feel back again, and it's just not quite the same.
It was a very artsy thing. When they brought on all the new phones, they kind of had this almost, especially when they had the Air come up. They had this guy looking up to the sky at this falling apart phone, and I was going, "What? What is this?"
And are they running out of places to introduce these products now? Because they're starting to go into all the Apple stores now around the world.
Yeah.
Here's a long shot. Next year, WWDC, so in June, we're going to have a real keynote.
Whoa.
Traditional. Because we're seeing Google step it up. Whether you liked it and thought it was a mishit or not, they've thought about changing the way they do things, making it more personal. They had an audience there. And Apple would have already been making this video at that time, so they didn't have time at this point. But I think they're going to try something new in June.
Admittedly, I was happy at the fact it was live and they had mistakes and problems go wrong.
Yeah.
I don't believe that the iPhone event will ever become a live event again.
Really?
I think that will stay one of these video ones because they want it to be as perfect as possible.
Yeah.
But I do believe that the WWDC could go back to that.
They should do, because WWDC is more of a community event, a week-long event anyway, and it should have that feel.
I found the quote.
Okay.
So the Steve Jobs quote is, "Design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it feels."
No, how it works, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, works. Damn it, works.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know if they opened it or closed it with it. I didn't see it myself in the live thing either.
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I did. But I don't think they said Steve Jobs said.
It says Steve Jobs right underneath.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't looking at the screen when they said it, but I remember them saying it, and I thought, yeah, isn't that kind of obvious? But I don't know.
It's just weird for them to go back to Steve Jobs after a long time of not ignoring him, but not bringing him back up that much anymore. They kind of talk about his influence, but not ever use him in these videos to try and back him up. It felt like they were kind of going, we need some help here. Quickly, get the Apple Messiah, get him out and say something.
Listen, it's that thing, like when you first move to the high school and everyone knows who your big brother was, so no one messes with you. But then big brother leaves high school and you're by yourself. And after a few years, you have to remind people, my big brother is so-and-so, because you're desperate.
So I agree that it felt like a slightly desperate one, but I also think this might be the best iPhone event for a while. At least the last 8 years, I'd say.
What was the last truly great iPhone event that had you kind of left you with your mouth open?
iPhone 5?
Really? For me, it was the iPhone 10, iPhone X, whatever you call it.
The iPhone X was an interesting one, but I didn't like anything they announced at it.
Oh, I couldn't believe how unique the phone was. And when they showed the press and the press went into the press room and it was like floating, I thought it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. And then I remember seeing my first one in the wild, and it was a student, and I just couldn't believe it. He was playing basketball on the indoor court at the college and holding it in the other hand as he dribbled the ball, and I just couldn't believe he would do that.
I guess I kind of think about that with the Vision Pro, because it's this new, interesting thing that I kind of find fascinating.
Yeah.
I've been thinking it over and over again, and I was like, I wish I had one of those. I know that most of the industry is kind of given up on it.
Yeah.
But I'm already very interested on where that will go.
I think it's dead.
I don't.
It's DOA.
I know it's not, because they've said they in an interview that they're working on a second generation already, and that should be coming out.
Oh, they have said that.
But I do think it's going to be the future of how we work in some way. I'm not saying that laptops are going to go, because I really like having a laptop.
Yeah.
But I can imagine working in an environment that's 3D around me. Specifically, if I could, like when we have these amazing desks where we work from, we have all this equipment that we have. The one thing we don't have is that tranquil environment that they show off in those things. I'd love to sit and be in my office here.
Yeah.
And be able to just suddenly teleport to being on the moon or in the middle of a forest at any moment.
Yeah, on the beach. Yeah, I understand that.
That seems amazing to me.
It does. It's just that when you want to quickly get up and go make a cup of tea, then you've got a problem. And that is the everyday of working in an office or at home.
Yeah.
Imagine if you worked from home and every time you had to go and do something, you had to put your socks back on and then take them off when you sat down. It might seem like a little thing, but after a while, you're just not going to bother. Especially if those socks are £3,000.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's a good point. I'm now just looking at how much on my desk I have to unplug or plug back in just to leave my desk. Like, actually, prime example, headphones. I have those on. Yeah. They're wired. I have to take them off every single time. And it does annoy me, the fact that I have to do that. But at the same time, I'm not losing a wire anytime soon.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, I think we've blabbered on enough.
Yeah, I think we covered it. Like, out of 10, just before we go, what are you giving the Apple event out of 10?
Ooh, I'd give it 8.5.
8.5. I'm going to go for a 7. That's not bad, but it's not kind of super exciting either.
I was planning initially on skipping this entire iPhone event. It wasn't my plan at all to do any video about it because I've got the phone I want. I don't find the newer iPhones that interesting. I've always been more intrigued by Mac OS or Vision OS or all these other ones. iPads as well. I find that quite interesting. I'd never found the phone, watch, or headphones that fun to use. So I was planning on skipping this event entirely. But that's why we don't have a before and after podcast this time, because it wasn't planned.